expect to see grafted fruit produce in somewhere between 2 to 4 years, depending on where you are and your weather. Sometimes in the north it takes a little bit longer for fruit production, just because your growing window during the summer is a little bit shorter than maybe in the south. It allows the tree to just get a little bit more maturity in its structure and in its root system. But grafted fruit varieties from pear, apple, persimmon, peach, those all can produce in 2 to 4 years. Something like an American persimmon seedling tree that's not grafted can take something more like 6 to 8, maybe a little bit more years before it starts to produce fruit. But we also have mulberries, which are a very quick producer. We take and produce our mulberry trees from cuttings, meaning that the cuttings are coming from mature wood, and we'll see fruit sometimes on less than a year-old tree out in the nursery, which is pretty cool. So you can see, especially in a cutting or a grafted fruit, pretty quick production of fruit for your farm, but if you're planting seedlings, you're going to see a little bit longer, anywhere from 5 to 10 years before you see any fruit production. So most mass-producing trees require well-drained soil to be able to produce. What that means is they don't like wet feet. If you have a part of your property that you're looking to plant on, but you see that there's standing water on occasion, even if it's once or twice a year, maybe once every other year, that planting site is really risky, because just a few days, 5 days a week, with a little too much moisture in the soil can cause a plant to rot, and it won't come back from it. So we recommend finding a well-drained soil site. What can help is, even if you're on a bit of an incline, to plant at the higher part of the incline, higher altitude. And some other things to think about is to take a look at your soil. If you have a really thick clay soil that stays moist, you may want to avoid that. But if you have that kind of soil everywhere on your property, you can probably do just fine, as long as there's not standing water for extended periods of time in that planting site. So get familiar with your area, get familiar with where you are thinking you want to plant, and go from there, but we wouldn't recommend planting in a site that has a lot of moisture. So I got some persimmons here. This is a jumbo variety, and they're a huge fruit. Very sweet, super delicious. And Diospyros khaki is actually translated to Diospyros is fruit of the gods. So persimmon is very sweet, it's delicious. But something that separates different persimmon varieties is there is a non-astringent variety and there is an astringent variety. Now, astringent would be like your typical American persimmon seedling that you find on your property. And if you've ever tried one of those persimmons before they were ripe, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They have astringency that'll suck the wax right out of your ears. Don't do much, just get it on your teeth. Spit it out, man, oh my God. Ugh. And it's pretty rough, man, I don't know.
It's really it's just what happens once the juice is in your mouth. Like
it's stuck. It's like this film. Yeah, that's astringent.
This is where it's at, huh?
Yeah, that's good stuff though. It's not a comfortable feeling, but you have to wait until they start to become this nice golden soft texture, and at that point the astringency has ripened out and they're delicious to eat. Don't eat it when it's hard. But there is also non-astringent varieties that were bred to have less and less astringency. So a popular variety you may be familiar with is a Fuyu persimmon, and a Fuyu was bred to be eaten like an apple. So this hard fruit can be eaten and it still has the sweetness without the crazy wax thing that happens. So it's the persimmons are really interesting and delicious fruit to try, but also just produce an incredible amount of fruit when they're mature.